Kneel.
Beg your pardon.
Kneel.
I don't think so. It's not possible.
Darling, you have no idea what's possible.
Stellaris Overlord has been announced and wow, we really don't have any idea what is possible. Stellaris Developer Diary 246 has dropped and now they have announced the new DLC is going to be called Stellaris Overlord. Other than that, we've got some details to share and we have some great artwork and images to look at that might illuminate what is going to be possible for our empires with the upcoming DLC. So with no further ado, let's dive straight into this dev diary and find out what new features are coming to Stellaris. The brightest star must guide them. Overlord's thematic focus is on exerting your will across the galaxy. The projection of power and the expansion of civilization, I'm going to put that in air quotes here, under your glorious banner. So you're going to be going out and civilizing other nations. Think of the British Empire and all it did through history. That may be the path you can choose to go down. The other galactic powers can choose to submit willingly or by force, but they will submit. With the Federation's DLC, diplomacy between equals within federations themselves, and the politics of the galactic community was explored. With Nemsis, more hostile forms of diplomacy, espionage, empires declaring themselves equal with others, with the Custodian, the Galactic Imperium, and the Crisis. In Overlord, we're going to be exploring the diplomacy that occurs between empires that are explicitly not equal. And if you're enjoying this video, please postulate that like button. New ways for you to rule. So vassalization mechanics are going to be undergoing significant changes. A major goal with this DLC was to make subjugation a more valuable and viable system with benefits for both sides, rather than being a delayed game over as you wait for integration should you ever be subjugated, should you ever feel the boot pressing down upon you. They're going to go into detail about the changes of how vassalization contracts will work next week, along with how contact negotiations function between Overlord and Subject. Now, it's interesting that they are called vassalization contracts. I am expecting we might be getting a system very similar to Crusader King 3's vassal contract system. There are going to be 3 specialist vassal types, and their place in the galaxy as well as the Overlord holdings are going to be described in the future. But for now, we do get to see some symbols. From what I can see here, the first one, I've actually got no idea. This looks like it might be more of a military kind of Overlord ship. That might mean we're going to get some bonuses to fleet, something like a march from Europa Universalis 4. The next looks like it might be some sort of economic vassalage, very similar, I would assume, to the current tributary system that we have. And the final icon does look very much like a science-based icon. So we're going to have military, economic, and science-based Overlord relationships, vassal relationships. Very interesting. Something the devs have also said is that as the game goes on, you're going to be able to upgrade the vassal relationship somewhat similar, I'm going to assume, to the Federation system, how that gets upgraded over time. We are getting 5 new origins. They are coming with Overlord, and we've got some icons for those origins. Now, I don't know exactly what these are going to be, but my speculation and guessing here is the first one, you start as a vassal and an auto-generated AI empire will be your Overlord. The next one, I'm assuming, is something to do with having a psionic origin. That's what it looks like to me here. I think we might be getting the ability to start with some form of latent psionics already unlocked within your empire, similar to the Mechanist start. After that, the symbol here, the third origin, does look very much to me like a military target. It looks like there is a targeting bracket around some sort of celestial body. I don't know if that's a planet or a star, and I don't know exactly where they're going with this, but I am very intrigued for it. After that, the next one I am 100%, well I'm 99.9% sure this is a subterranean origin. And I'm going to assume this means you can start as an empire in a similar way to the subterranean event chain that you can have start on one of your planets, where a subterranean nation will emerge from the ground, quite interestingly. And finally, I think this last one is a hive mind origin, and I suspect from the icon what we may be getting here is an origin where thematically there was a regular biological empire that then became a hive mind, and what we're seeing here is something similar to Horatio from Endless Space. I could be wrong here, but that's what the icon is making me think of. But what do you think these 5 new origins are? Please let me know down in the comments. I would be very interested to hear from you. We're also getting 3 new enclaves to encounter. Now, just a reminder here, what the enclaves are at the moment, we have the trading enclave that you can find and use to get some rare resources from. We have the science enclave, the curator enclave they're called, and you can get a boost to your science from them, as well as getting a special scientist, finding some things out about some of the mysteries in the galaxy. And finally, the Artists Enclave. Those are the 3 we have right now. What are we getting though? Well, this first piece of artwork does very much look like we're getting some sort of religious, or should I say spiritualist enclave. Exactly what they're going to do, I really don't know. Following that, we do have what looks to be an enclave. Honestly, I've got no idea. Maybe some sort of repair-based enclave, something that wants to go out and help you with ship repair in space. Though I'm not really sure mechanically how that would be useful. But maybe it's some sort of salvage operation. Honestly, it could be a lot of things. Finally, we've got what I am really quite confident here is some sort of military enclave. Maybe we'll be able to hire fleets from them, something like that. A little bit like the Marauders, but with some better contracts and better diplomatic options. All roads lead to Deneb 2B. But what they often fail to mention is that also means all roads lead away. Governing a galaxy-spanning empire is very challenging, and threats can come from any direction. If you cannot take and defend what is rightfully yours, was it ever yours to begin with? That's a very good question posed by the devs, and what are we going to be getting to help defend us? Well, we're going to be getting our hands on a new megastructure, which will allow us to counter such threats, as well as help to take what we deserve. This artwork looks very interesting. I'm assuming this is some sort of military-based megastructure we're going to be building around a star. Possibly it's going to be something like the Nicole Dyson beam from the Gigastructures mod. I don't know, but definitely very, very interesting. We've not seen or heard about this one before. We've seen some artwork previously, but it was definitely not part of this megastructure. This is new, and from what I can see with the art here, there's definitely some sort of emergent power property going on here. They're draining energy from the star, not like a Dyson sphere though, so I'm going to assume it's aggressive. Maybe it could also be transportational. That might be the key here, but we will just have to find out. And if you're enjoying this video and other videos on this channel, you can help to support this channel by either becoming a channel member, supporting this channel through Patreon, or purchasing something on the Humble Bundle store. Links to all of these are down in the description below. Other new constructions will allow us to elevate civilization to new heights. So basically what we've got here is some sort of orbital structure that is surrounding a planet. I'm going to assume this means we can build something of an orbital which will be expanding the capacities of the planet below. Possibly it's going to allow us to build extra districts. Hopefully it's going to give us access to extra building slots. But we're just going to have to find out with time exactly what it's going to do. For now though, we do know the name of this new structure is an orbital ring. So, I mean, it does what it says on the tin there. It's a ring in orbit of the planet. Not very imaginative, but definitely something cool, definitely something we've seen before in science fiction, and I can't wait to get my hands on one. And we will be able to exert our influence to build a network tying the galaxy together, with our capital as the center, of course. And now this art is a little bit interesting. It's a little bit hard to see what this is, but this is actually something we've seen already. This is in the trailer. This is the gateway-like structure that the devs have named for us. It is called a hyper relay. Now, that's an interesting choice of language here, interesting syntax they've used, because hyper relay, we've got the word hyper in there, like hyper lanes. So the purpose here, we obviously know it's transportational in nature, but what exactly is it going to do? It can't be like a gateway, so it can't just connect up to all the others, and I don't think it's going to connect up to a single other gateway. What I suspect it might do is it might allow us to bypass possibly some of the hyperlanes, to go through one of these and be able to jump multiple hyperlanes in a single jump, and therefore not go through the center of systems. That's just one idea it could be. Otherwise, it could be more like your traditional gateways in a lot of 4X games, where you can only link between any two of them. I'm looking at you, Galactic Civilizations 2, and your history and backstory about the Arceans, but I am very interested to find out what the implementation here really is, because we do already have something similar to this with our gateways and also the L gate. So another form of a constructed transportation mechanism. Very cool. And through all of this, will you be able to realize your grand design? Will you be a benevolent overlord that brings prosperity and peace to the galaxy, or an oppressive tyrant exploiting your vassals? Or instead, will you serve and become part of something greater than yourself? The choice is yours. I'm going to include a link to the Stellaris Overlord trailer in the description below. If you haven't seen it already, go and check it out. I've already played quite a bit of the footage in this video, so you'll probably be already familiar with some of the imagery. But of course, we're getting some nice story, nice backstory to Stellaris. And I can't wait until they release the release trailer for Stellaris Overlord, because those are always fantastic. Stellaris Apocalypse was absolutely wonderful. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Thank you for sticking with me through this video so far. I know the sound quality might be a little different at the moment. My voice might be a little different. I had some oral surgery today, and I'm all painkillered up at the moment, and I'm all a bit floppy still. The anesthetic's still doing its thing. So thank you very much, and I apologize if it's not been as good as usual, but I just really wanted to talk about and bring you some information on this new DLC. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. A lot of these new features, the vassal packs, the megastructures, are going to require influence to build. So you're going to want to maximize your influence income. If you'd like to know how to do that, click the video on screen now.